How about now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Let me see. I got this thing up now. I've been blabbing and shit, talking for the last 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Let's see. Oh, let me see. I got this thing up now. How about now? Can you hear me? Talking for the last 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Let's see. Oh, let me see. I got this thing up now. How about now? Can you hear me? Talking for the last. All right, there you go. Why don't you guys say something good? Okay, there you go. Why don't you guys fucking say something? Here I'm sitting there looking at the sky and pontificating. Did you not hear my speech earlier? God, I was going off. Holy shit. Why don't you guys tell me something, man? There you go, 6x9. There you go, Wake. Yeah. Holy shit. There you go. God, man, you guys need to pipe in there like that, man. You guys didn't hear anything I said. That's fucking hilarious because I was going off, dude. I probably would have been zucked. Had I not, had I had my mics on. Well, where do I start? Hang on. Did you guys even hear the music or anything? No music, no nothing. It just started off like whatever. Because I did say that you guys could call in. Let's see. Let me rewind this. Not heard a word. Okay, well, thank you, Holly. God, man, I feel so bad. You should have said 10x10. Wow, that's so crazy. Do it again. Do the rant again. See, that's the thing, Ross. I lost all my energy now because I'm like pissed off. Okay, I'll say this. Okay, so tonight, Spanky. See, I knew it. I knew Spanky said I was gonna fuck up this place. Spanky had to take off for a second, and she's like, "I'll be right back," and I gotta go do some stuff, and I can't be on the show. I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I'm going to go ahead and just do the show by myself. And I said, you know what I'll do is I'll fucking just have the that. No wonder people on Twitter were like going, "I can't hear you." Well, there you go. Fucking ain't here. I'm thinking, no, I'm fine. I need a can of squelch. So I said I was just going to open up the phone lines tonight, and you guys can shoot the shit if you want at 415-889-8367. My bad. Excuse me. My lack of experience as a broadcaster. I've only been doing this for a little bit, so my bad. I'm not a pro at this. I'm just I stated a couple of Holiday Inn Expresses. But anyways, there. Okay, now no wonder I was like people were DMing me on Twitter. Let me tell somebody here. Yeah, hang on, I know, buddy. No wonder my boy was like going off at me. Well, I appreciate you guys for letting me know. Did you guys even hear the intro? Did you guys even hear any beats or something like that? You guys didn't hear anything? You guys didn't hear you guys didn't hear Ice Cube? You guys didn't hear any of that, huh? Wow, God, I feel so bad. God, bad host. Bad host, man. Bad host. Shit. We stay at the Super 8. So anyways, how you guys and gals doing tonight? My apologies again for the sound check, but it was my fault. I was flipping some switches here, and I guess I didn't flip the right switch. I should have zigged when I should have zagged. God, I feel I'm embarrassed now. This is the first time I'm embarrassed behind the mic. You guys can't even see my face. I'm embarrassed. God, I'm embarrassed because oh man, that means you guys probably didn't hear it. That sucks. Man, that blows. Anyways, well, all right. Well, shit. What was I talking about? Okay. Well, we've had. Let's see. I discussed a little bit. There was I'll just say right now. There was a soldier that was found unresponsive in Kuwait, and it was just Wednesday. So the command U.S. Army Central did say that they sent their heartfelt condolences to the family of the deceased, and of course the names being withheld pending notification of the family. This is also the second death in Kuwait from a week ago after Staff Sergeant Anthony Bermudez. 28 was killed in a vehicle rollover. Bermudez from a suburb of Dallas, Texas, died 11 January. His remains were returned to the U.S. in a dignified transfer ceremony on January the 13th out of October. God, I feel so bad, guys, that I wasn't even freaking. I gotta play shit. Tina, I guess don't feel we're the ones staring at the screen like I guess this is just our life now. Exactly. Shit. Speaking of which, so you guys listen. Oh, play some Snoop. I'll play some Snoop. Do I got an old? I think I got some Snoop. Do I need to do a new Snoop thing right here? But did you guys? So you guys see anything? Did you guys see the inauguration? You guys see the big stuff that was happening? I know there's a lot of stuff that's been people have been rumortizing and talking shit about it. For the life of me, I would just wish people would just stop talking shit about the stuff about what happened or why was it there and all this other crap. If you don't know why it happened, then you must be sleeping under a rock. Why all those forces were there. It's almost like what? There were more forces in the capital during the inauguration than there was in Afghanistan. I think, doesn't that make DC like the next deployment or something like that? So it's just like, God. A lot of shit that was being said about how soldiers' conduct, how misconduct was happening. If you didn't hear anything, well, that's because good. That's what you're supposed to. That's what you're not supposed to hear. You're not supposed to hear anything happen if there was any issues, then obviously that means the troops were there for a reason. That means they provided their purpose. They provided what they were supposed to have done. Army Times article said that the National Guard had a quiet day in D.C. standing post against threats that they helped prevent. But right. See, 25,000 soldiers of the National Guard set to defend Washington against a potential second insurrection attempt during President Joe Biden's inauguration. Now here's where I have some issues with some of the wording, the way the press says it. It wasn't like not set up because of that. It was because there was threats of violence that was going to happen. People were talking about a potential insurrection. Everybody knew that it was going to be beefed up during this inauguration. So obviously there was going to be a little bit of a heightened security. Do I think it's overkill? I don't know. Is it? Do you guys think it was? Lieutenant Colonel Marshall Hunt, who commanded some of the 300 National Guard members of New York, he was stationed at the Supreme Court and the Library of Congress. He said it was uneventful, and uneventful equals success for us, which is true. The New Yorkers were sent part of a contingent of the National Guard that had been slated to provide increased protection during the January 20th inauguration. Obviously, things changed when the Capitol was attacked by supporters of then President Donald Trump, attempting to overturn the election results. Now, do you think they did that? Do you think that's what they were doing? Do you think that's what was happening? Do you think they were just being shit posters, or do you think that? Feel free to call, by the way, 415-889-8367 if you feel different. If you feel that that's not happened, or all that. Does it mean it looked like all the press took pictures? Yeah, exactly that. Tina says that a buddy of mine had Roland said, could you imagine a change of command ceremony where the outgoing CEO just said, nah, I'm not going to that shit. Yeah, that's a good point. Do you guys think that it was good that he didn't go to the fucking inauguration? I'm kind of pissed off about that. I really am. I'm not really pissed about it. I'm just think that it's messed up that if you sit there and talk about this time for the Mississippi National Guard went too. If you want to talk about healing, you want to talk about doing better for the nation and do good for the next administration, and then you just like don't show up. I tweeted out, hey, at least I showed up to my retirement ceremony, right? At least I showed up to my retirement ceremony, and the thing was is that it was set up for me, and I wasn't even planning on doing it until I found out it was being done for me, and out of respect, I went to it. That's kind of like the thing that you're supposed to do. You think he's good because he hates draws. I don't know if he didn't go. I just think that the military. I don't know. I just think the military being there would have been good enough. At this point, it's almost like at this point, it's really just a transfer. It's like you said, it's just a ceremony, Tina. It's just a ceremony that you attend to. Whether you want to go, you want to go to it or not, and you want to attend it, then that's fine. You don't have to attend it if you don't want to. If you're a Joe or if your command can get out of it. Yeah, exactly that cause. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. But don't get me wrong. Throughout the whole administration, you say take your lumps and by the media, and you can shitpost and tweet all you fucking want. But when it comes to that part of the ceremony, when it comes to the transfer of government, that's when you kind of like have to swallow just swallow that pill and say, yep, okay, now I got to be in this formation. Now I got to do this. The media, I don't think, played any favor to it as well by making it sound like, oh, see, look at him, he's going away, he's like a disgraced man. The media has been really fucking pissing me off about some of this shit. It's especially when there's the military involved. Everything from memes and stuff being done about the soldiers sleeping in the Capitol, which I'll be honest with you, if you've ever been in an environment where it's kind of cold and you're in a nice warm building, that nice warm building, marble flat floor, probably was some of the best sleep them Joes have ever had. I just don't think that it's like you said, cause don't take your football and just go home, because then at that point you're just being a bitch about it. You can act the way you wanted. Of course, he's the president, the outgoing president. He could have acted any way he wanted, but instead he chose to do that. Just, I'm out of here. I'm gone. I don't want to be here anymore. Fine. He's exactly that, throwing a temper tantrum. Stop it. At this point, when the whole country is expecting you to just not be a little bitch about shit, you can go ahead and be cool, be right, do the change of command ceremony, and then take off. Then that's it. Then you can at least said, because at that point, why would you even want to? I mean, I'm going to go on a political rant, but I really don't want to go on a political rant, but I kind of do. That's what I was saying earlier before I realized that something was wrong with my sound. Media is 80% trash. Yeah, I trust the Weather Channel. Exactly. Everything was just all of it, both sides, all sides. Fox News, fucking CNN, MSNBC was just straight blah blah blah. I tell you what, if there's anything else right now, due to the fact that some veterans fucking trashed the Capitol, now I know how people, Vietnam veterans, when they got back from Vietnam, being called baby killer felt like. You know what I mean? That's they're now, veterans are now getting looked at with extra scrutiny. Why the hell why did we have to get fucking soldiers extra screened? If you really don't trust our soldiers that much, then you want to inject political fucking and actually create some more paranoia. Of course we're gonna fucking find out who somebody is. You think individuals that were actually armed were gonna let something happen? I don't think so. Was there, now don't get me wrong, were they able to filter some people out and all that shit that they discovered? Right. Maybe have been vetted for possible extremist views. Well, let's go ahead and let's analyze that. What's considered a possible extremist view? I didn't agree with you on something, so then I'm going to go ahead and that's it. You're extremist. We had conversations about this since this whole fucking thing began in the shop about things like that. What is considered like? If I don't believe in going to church, and I don't believe in being God, or I don't believe it, you shouldn't force religion on me. But then again, I'm not going to get pissed off if you are a Christian, or if you're a Wiccan, or if you're a Satanist or atheist. I don't care. I'm going to respect you. That's the whole fucking meaning of this whole thing. What are you considering an extremist idea? Because somebody speaks with a different accent, or somebody comes from a different region of the country, or because they don't believe in shit like you, because they don't like doing what you like to do. I like going fishing and hunting too, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna sit there and say, hey, you go too much, you go fishing and hunting too much, you're an extremist, or vice versa. Hey, you play Xbox too much, or you're doing this shit too much. You're probably pushing you're probably pushing a bad narrative by talking on this shit on podcasts. So I think you're an enemy propagandist. I've already been called that too. I've already been called like I'm the leader of let me just fucking start. I got to figure out 25 exactly that guy. 25,000 soldiers. That was a final number of 12. That's better than any informational report, and exactly that. Oh, see, there you go. See, good point, Baconator. You watch British news. You watch foreign TV. I watch foreign TV as well. Do I think that because, are you a traitor? You're a seditionist? Is that what it is? Is that what it is, Baconator? You know what I mean? That's the mentality we're starting to go, where everything's being now, it's almost like I said, the Twitter fucking Salem witch trials when it comes to shit like this. What level of considered as extremism and all that? The point is that media heads should not be the ones fucking determining that for you. You have somebody on fucking CNN or MSNBC or Fox News telling you how to fucking act like, and have probably never served not one fucking time in the military, probably not served one time as a fucking lawyer, probably not, litigated any cases like a lawyer, probably not a judge, probably not Constitution, probably didn't go to fucking school for some of this shit, and they're now all of a sudden experts are coming out of the woodwork. I saw a meme that one of my friends said that all of us, I'm so glad that now everyone's went from being epidemiologists to constitutional experts to, what was it, treason specialists or whatever. That's what the thing is going, is that the talking heads and the narrative right now is that they know more than you. When you start having opposing ideas on CNN, that's a fucking issue. When you see two notable talking heads going back and forth, that's telling you something. When you see Fox News not knowing what to do now and repeating and literally losing their shit and fighting amongst each other, there's something wrong with the fucking with the talking heads of the media. You know, there has to be something. There has to be a connection. There has to be something with these vets. There's a fucking report that NPR just released. 1 out of 5 individuals there were veterans. Were veterans. I'm kind of curious what MOSs they were, what ranks they were, what structure they come from. A lot of us have a specific background. We kind of lose our original identity. You say you don't, but you do. Once you join the military, you become a different person. You kind of gravitate towards that, a different military mentality when you're hanging out with your fellow vets. So what's the metric? What's the determination that you now are a veteran? Because I clearly remember back in the day when Dianne Feinstein said the biggest threat to our fucking national security, and she slipped and had to retract it. She said we're veterans. She fucking said that. And now it's coming fucking to, now that narrative is slowly coming back. They're not outright saying it, but now it's coming back. Meanwhile, she has a Chinese spy for a dryer. Meanwhile, Swalwell's got a Chinese spy he was hanging out with. He's now involved in this investigation of who was there. Now, hey, fucking hey, dude. I hope every single one of those guys and gals that stormed that fucking Capitol and breached through the fucking walls, man, all of them. Hell yeah, prison, fuck yeah, dude. Trying to stop a process that you can now see that there's videos revealing that there were processes that they were trying to stop. You had that one guy that said this is an IO war. This is an information. This is a PR. You got guys speaking out of your lane. Oh, I'm probably going to get zucked for saying this. Knowing how things are. You're going to have some individuals right there now claim that's what it is. Yeah, exactly that. It all started with, after this report, what's under the sink that might kill you. Exactly that, Baconator. Hey, Bacon, have you ever called the show, man? Give us a buzz, man. 415-889-8367. If you're in a quiet area, man, if you want to shoot the shit. I think you've called us one time or twice. I can't remember. But it's fucking pathetic. I like farm animals and my cousins. Heath, we're talking. I don't think, is that extremist? Is that extremism in some parts? I don't know if it is or not. But it's freaking frustrating when you see that shit. You see now veterans getting pigeonholed into a label. That's going to be, oh, now all of a sudden, watch out. Because you did something in the military at a specific job, now you're more susceptible to do this because you're more susceptible to do that. That's what the talking heads are going through right now. You have speech impediments? Okay, cool. You don't have to call them. You know, what I don't understand is the mad rush to all this. It's happening online right now. I'm seeing people right now that are literally cannot say anything because now if you say something or against it or for, oppose or not oppose, argue against, argue for, try to explain what happened at the Capitol when you weren't there. Now everyone's getting attacked. You're going to get attacked for what you say. Then if you're a veteran, they're going to be like, well, why didn't you get screened? What was your MOS? You know, it's a scary rabbit hole to freaking wildlife. My sister would be extremist. Okay, cool. Just don't double check. It's a scary rabbit hole. You know, a lot of the susceptibility to QAnon. All this stuff about QAnon. Have you guys been seeing the memes about that? QAnon's been like fucking. If you want to know what I think QAnon just got. That was like, I think QAnon was the biggest fucking catfish anybody has ever been through. I think, a few million people have been involved in that shit, even around Trust the Plan, all this other crap. The biggest fucking catfish on the planet. The biggest one was QAnon, a fucking joke. Straight up fucking joke. Trying to propagate some shit like it was supposed to fucking happen, and look what happened. And nothing happened. Bunch of shit talkers. But again, I'm being serious. Veterans and military personnel are now getting looked at with extra scrutiny. Like as if we didn't already go through enough screening to get where we're at. There's individuals that have top secret clearances, individuals that have clearances that they have already been vetted through. But what is considered an extremist idea? What is considered extremist when it comes to, and not to a fucking reporter either. Are there, and that, it has to be independent. Think about it. You're going to have somebody who's a reporter or something like that tell you that because you like the Second Amendment or you support the Second Amendment, then you're going to get, I guarantee that's what the next one is. Concealed carry permit carriers. You best believe they're going to start looking at shit like that. How are we going to do this? How are we as a military? How are we as a service? And I'm saying as the DoD as well. How are we going to look at this? What do we? Is it an education thing? And right before the inauguration, about a week later, there was like there was a massive amount of freaking hysteria about who needed to be screened. Somebody put out that there is an increased effort to stamp out extremism around the ranks. That there is possibly a threat that's going to happen to the incoming president. And like you said, Gary, 12 were found. But we don't even know what the criteria was to say that they were. What is considered extremism to anybody? I mean, I'm just like, this is a rhetorical question. Now, there's a couple of articles that are out there that are saying, 12 were discovered. Let's see who we got here. WTF Nation Radio, you're on the air.
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, not much. I was talking had to talk to all the soldiers today, just about, hearing their thoughts and their concerns about, the political climate and everything.
Right.
And we just had the open discussion, and the only rules of engagement were, okay, don't start attacking one another, actually try to actively listen to one another, don't get hostile and express your opinions and views. And I was actually pretty surprised at these young soldiers and the level of maturity and awareness that they have. Just a lot of them were cognizant of the divide that exists within the country. They were surprisingly against the divide and thought that the media, social media, the algorithm, all that's the agent that is causing the divide, and that it's not actually the people themselves. So it was a good discussion, good stuff.
Now,
I think that's how we overcome it, is actually talking about it.
Well, see, that's the thing. Do you think that the discussion of it, what would you consider it being? How do I say this? How is it? Because from your background, you don't have to tell us where you're from originally and all that stuff, but how does your background correlate to somebody? How do you explain it, or how do you as a leader are able to discuss that? Where you're from is probably completely different from where I'm from, where one of the audience members is from. How are you able to circumvent or get across that divide of different beliefs and things to where it was not considered extremist? Does that make sense? Am I asking the right question, or is that how? Am I framing it right?
Yeah, that was actually some of the soldiers. One of their questions was, how do you navigate your thoughts and your beliefs and everything with so much misinformation on social media? Basically, where do you formulate your opinions, right? And basically, I told them, if you're not being an asshole, if it's just general human decency, then it's probably the right answer.
Right.
But,
right.
For example, riots on either side, because they occurred on both what would be considered the left side and the right side. In general, riots, that's kind of a shitty thing to do, so that should be kind of your temperature gauge, and not necessarily a left or right question. Is it the right thing to do, period? But so far as getting past the differences in, I guess, kind of local belief systems that are instilled by, wherever you grew up and the people you were surrounded by, one of the things we discussed is that a lot of people, regardless of where they're from, are going to have some sort of common ground just by virtue of being freaking human beings.
Right.
And instead of trying to, it depends on your end goal. Like, are you trying to achieve harmony and common ground with the person that you're speaking with, or are you trying to be right? So I think that's one of the things that can overcome that division, is trying to figure out, okay, what do we have in common? What can we learn from each other? And kind of sending the conversation that way, as opposed to, hey, okay, I want to prove that I am super right about whatever the thing is.
One of my things it goes back to the question of what is considered, because now people are now identifying patriotism, or what is the difference between patriotism and being an extremist or being a nationalist or being whatever. Our own leaders, our own military leaders, have been on record and recorded to say pride and nationalism and pride in our country and patriotic. And this is like in years past. This is like normal. Do you think individuals are grasping these lexiconal, conversation and just removing it to where it's like they're? I mean, this to me. I mean, I'm, and this is my own opinion. I think they are, but flexing it to that way they can just shut people up. I mean, just to kind of like, you can't be patriotic, or you can't be, you can't love this country, or you can't overly love this country because then you might be a nationalist. You know what I mean? Do you think that? Mm-hmm. How do you? I mean, because it's just fascinating thought for me. But how, as you as a leader, get to the point where you think, okay, this person's like really fucking into it, or this person's like what would be a normal person? You know what I mean? Because now we don't know what's considered normal by what the media is saying.
So, I don't know if I completely grasp the difference. I know that, just by virtue of our job, we are patriots, and we believe in the nation and protecting the nation. I do think that somehow across, along the line, the American flag and loving our country has become synonymous with like racism and the far right. I don't know like why that occurred, but apparently like the American flag at some point became offensive, and I hate it that has happened. And I just hope that somehow the Army over time can, I don't know, convince the American people that we're a good in the world. I had a soldier that had to go on duty to, a different state here recently, and he had to be in uniform. And he was just amazed at the looks that he was getting from civilians around him, and that wasn't something that he had experienced before. So I don't know how we're going to fix it, but God, I hope we do, because yeah.
I just think that that most of the, I think it's one thing about as being in the military, or let's being a veteran, is that we have to kind of be like, we're supposed to be apolitical and the calm person in the room, when we have both people raging about whatever side is what. I don't like the fact that immediately, because I'm of a mixed background, so I have a different view of how the country is from a different background, heritage wise, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I kind of look at things a little bit more, and I'm not saying I'm overappreciative more than anybody else who's from here or born here or raised here or naturalized here. I just think that because I can, and also because of where I've been, I kind of look at things a little bit more differently and appreciate a little bit more, to where I don't like you said, I don't understand why I cannot be proud of the American flag. It's like I get more, I don't want to say offended, but I get more. I raise my eyebrows when I see people doing the thin blue line or the thin red line, or messing with our flag. Because I'm not saying that. Yeah, it's your right to fucking. It's freedom of speech for you to burn a flag. It's freedom of speech for you to protest and yada yada yada. I don't like it. I don't like it at all that people do that. So, but I also, in the same thing, I also hold the same standard that I don't like people changing the flag. I don't like people making
Right.
a thin blue line flag or something. You know, if leave the flag the way it is. Leave it alone. You know, make another flag for law enforcement. Make another flag for first
Right.
responders. You know what I mean? But don't turn it black and gray. Don't fucking put a blue line in it. I know what the symbolism is. You know, that's my old job is all about themes and symbols and all that. But I always felt like the individuals that get so mad about burning the American flag are the same ones that are adulterating it, that are turning it into like the thin blue line flag. It's their freedom. It's their freedom of speech as well. I don't like it. Don't get me wrong. I don't like it. But I just don't feel that I don't want to say it. I don't want to ostracize another group by saying that I don't like that flag. I mean, I've already did anyways because I said that was fucked up to have anybody with a flag on there because there was an issue. Go ahead.
But you're saying that it shouldn't be America in general on the whole shouldn't be tied to singular organizations and made to appear the same way that we can't wear a uniform at certain political type events. It's because you don't want to tie the two together. America is the country that is all encompassing, and now you've kind of assigned America to your organization.
Right. Well, yeah, because then it makes it like it just labels anybody. You know, it just labels everybody to where, you have that thin blue line flag, and the next everyone's like, and I get the justification. I mean, I'm right there with you. Everyone's like, hey, you have that discussion with somebody and why they have it or why they support it. Hey, that's cool. That's cool. But I remember, exactly that. Exactly that. Growing up, it was frowned upon for wearing any representation of the flag. You either had it hanging off your fucking porch, or on a flagpole out front in your yard, or you had it on it was on a flagpole in front of a building. It was on a uniform. Back in the day when we started at. So it was really, to me, it was a big. I don't know. I don't. That's just not. I don't know. But then again, you having that flag, I'm not going to sit there and crush you over it. I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, you got that flag. Oh, you better take that down because you're an extremist. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because then that people are going fucking nuts over that shit. And that's another thing, too. It's like, yeah, American flag beach towels. Exactly that. Yeah, big time, Pookie. Someone gave me an American flag beach towel one time. I'm like, thank you, I appreciate it. And I'm just like accepted it as a gift. And it's been collecting moths and shit then you don't want to throw it away. So.
Right. It's all crappy looking.
Yeah, exactly. Then you go ahead.
It's kind of funny that you were talking about the freedom of speech because I was surprised yet again. The soldiers brought that up because they started talking about, well, one of them was super misinformed. He was like, well, I don't think the government should have taken away Trump's Twitter. I'm like, well, all right, let's back it up. All right, the government didn't take away, Trump's Twitter. Each one of these social media platforms, they are their own corporations, so they don't have to abide by the same, First Amendment rights that, you as a citizen, you can go out into the street and voice your opinions out to the sky, and a cop's not going to come arrest you because you have the right to say whatever it is. But then other soldiers were saying, okay, but we think that the government should be more involved with the social media platforms to force them to allow people to just say whatever it is they want on that platform without getting their posts removed or getting, in Facebook jail or whatever.
Right.
Getting zucked.
Yeah, getting zucked. Oh my God. Yeah, that seems to be the normal thing with us. And that's another thing too. Joe Rogan brought that up on one of his podcasts. Is that he loves freedom of speech because freedom of speech is the greatest. He said something to the effect that it's the greatest way to find out who the assholes are. You know what I mean? It's the those are the ones. How do you know somebody's racist? Freedom of fucking speech will tell you that because they're going to be able to spout whatever. You know what I mean? You say something that's fucked up on the webs, and you're going to be like, "Damn, dude, you're fucking racist. You can't be dropping those shits and saying that on air or." On post, then you deserve, you know what I mean? Then there you go. Everybody knows about it. I mean, it's almost like having conversations on the phone. How is it Facebook not different from Verizon now? How is Facebook not different from AT&T when it comes to phone records? Because we no longer, I don't think I've ever seen anybody have a phone line anymore. You got a phone line at your house?
Not anymore, no.
Right, exactly. So you don't have a phone line at your house at all. So I'm just kind of thinking, you don't have a phone line at your house. You don't have you use either Facebook Messenger to communicate, or you use your phone, right? So,
Right.
isn't it kind of like that as well? Like I could say anything I want to you on Facebook Messenger video, and am I going to get zucked because I told you? You know, I'm just saying it in conversation. If someone has a conversation.
Ooh. Like a slippery slope kind of thing.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, I'm not going to at all say that it's okay to say that stuff. I'm just saying that, you know, troops were being pre-screened. They were pre-screened. They had 12 identified soldiers, but we didn't know what the screening criteria was.
Right.
So we didn't know exactly what was considered extreme. Is it because you say something, you know, whatever, you say something that's different to whatever, and who's the screener? So is the screener saying this is extreme to me, so this person needs to be pulled out? But if another screener looked at it and said this is not extreme to me, then it's good to go, right? You understand? It's now we're starting to realize, okay, who's what. You know, Dean says, hey, you sign up for what they offer and agree to their terms. Correct, Dean. You're right. I was just asking that, speaking purely in rhetorical terms, different terms and conditions. You're right.
You know what I bet it was? I bet it was just their chains of command, like listening to the soldier talk in general, and they're like, we're not putting you anywhere near like media personnel or like cameras.
Yeah,
or nothing.
that's really what they should have called it. Exactly. They should have called it. They should have called it the Carl factor. You know what I mean? Or Cavman.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They should have fucking had some.
Gotta get you out.
Yeah, they should have had somebody like going, all right, what do you feel about this? Oh no, I don't think you should. Right, non-airborne. Exactly that. Were flagged. Exactly that. There was individual. Could you imagine if you were a paratrooper? You could. Yeah. You might offend somebody just by in your mere presence of awe. I'm sorry, I'm just messing around. But. No, I'm just it's just who's screening the screeners, exactly like Pookie said. Who's fact checking the fact checkers? You might say something to me that's not going to be 100% totally fucking not offensive to anybody, but if somebody were to hear you and I speaking and there was an outside conversation, can it be like, oh my god, did you hear what she fucking said to him? Why is he not fucking like going off, or why isn't he like pissed off? And why did she say that? She's so mean, you know, or whatever. Because now everything's mean.
Right.
Now everything's mean.
Right. And offensive.
Inoffensive.
For sure.
Of excellence, yeah, exactly. So, God, it's fucking crazy. We'll take a break right quick.
I wonder.
Go ahead. You can stay on the line. I'm gonna take a break right quick, and then we'll be right back. Don't worry, my sound will still be good. So y'all stand by, and we'll be here to speak on this subject. So stand by.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue. airlines are going off. Another rocket attack. I've got my boots and got my ammo in my 50-pound sack. Boys headed to war in this world unknown. The only peace of mind I've got are these letters from home. Another day attack. I've tried to talk and tell you about it, but it ain't the same. All these thoughts that run through my head, well, they can't be tamed. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here in Kandahar. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here. We ain't far from Kandahar. Said before, went down south of the border. Now life, it's got a little harder for me. I fell in love with some girl. She told me that she was gonna rock my world. Now I'm stuck here with no money. Don't that just sound a little funny for you? know the animal I have become, so won't you save me? Save me! Won't you save me? Save me! Won't you save me? Save me! Won't you please put me out of my little misery? Well, I know life is short. Mom, you know I always try to do my best. Should've listened when you told me I wouldn't be caught in this mess. Gotta go now, Dad, I'm sorry. Everybody, all y'all need to know this is life, a true story. When you chase ass down in Mexico, save me, save me. Won't you save me, save me, save me, save me. Won't you please put me out of my little misery?
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
If that's really a thing, and I get authorized to do it once, it's pretty much gonna be me sitting there talking shit, like, constantly.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back with part 2 of Sergeant's Time. Speaking with an Army leader right now, talking about this extremism crap within our ranks. Ends up being a pretty good conversation. I didn't expect it to be so long, but welcome back.
Howdy.
Hey, so, anyways. So, to continue the conversation where we're talking about the, one of my biggest questions that we were discussing what's considered extremism. What would you consider whatever? Now, you as a leader, have you had anybody from, like, your EO office? Where does a leader go to? What resources did you have? I mean, did you have any people from the CID talking, law enforcement? What did you use as your source to discuss it?
Okay, so we didn't really go too in depth into extremism. When we were talking, of course, we do have those resources available, but the intent for today was more so just leader engagement. So it was just me and Top, sitting there and letting the soldiers be heard and letting the soldiers hear each other. Because, I mean, one of the things, and this isn't like doctrine or anything, but it's just a personal belief. I think that division comes from hate, and hate comes from fear, and fear comes from ignorance, really. And the more that the soldiers get exposed to each other and each other's opinions and ideas, I think it kind of levels the playing field to where they're executing their critical thinking skills and active listening and learning to cohabitate in a space and work together and understand that they are all people. They all have the same mission, the same purpose. And that's what creates the unity.
I have a lot of, okay, you have a large organization. Is there some organizations have more of a junior age and junior rank or set up, or some of them have a more senior one? What type of organization do you have? Is it more junior in rank? There's a lot of Joes.
Yeah, I have tons of Joes. They're all ranging from 18 up until their 30s, but the 30s are kind of peppered in. Like, most of them are 18, 19 years old, so they're fairly new to the military life. So we get to kind of indoctrinate them.
Oh,
give them
okay, yeah, there you go. So no, that's a good point, because people think indoctrination. You're teaching soldiers as a leader. You're teaching you got to teach them the Army values, and there's always individuals that are static out there that are saying, well, the Army needs to be doing this. Because I know one thing about the fucking Fort Hood report. Not only did it expose a lot of toxicity, which I'm really glad it did, and showed some of the misgivings and all that, but it also highlighted individuals that need to step up in their fucking leadership role and should have stopped it when it happened. You know what I mean? And didn't take into consideration who they were listening to. They should have just done the right thing, stepped in, and then I'm not saying it wouldn't have happened. I'm not saying it shouldn't have happened. But I'm just saying there was a lot of outer friction, individuals that should have fucking jumped in there and said something about it. Do you see within your organization, is it pretty easy to kind of like stamp them out? Have you been able to rumor control, misinformation, disinformation? Have you been able to handle it? Is it pretty prevalent? Have you seen it?
I mean, but with the sheer volume, you do the best that you can. But I do think that every little bit that you talk with your soldiers does help, because you can see just from having the conversations with your small groups, you can see the ideology, the Army values. They start to echo it, especially at that young age. A lot of them haven't had exposure, to morality, to ethical thinking, anything like that from their home life. And that's where the Army values are so important. And they're so impressionable, right? So it's almost the same way as with, like, when you're talking to your kids, you want to get to them early. You want to, kind of help shape them into just basically my biggest phrase is like, hey, in general, just don't be an asshole. Like, think of it like that, and you can, succeed at most things. But yeah, I think
what's a mutual respect thing, right? I mean, isn't that what you're basically teaching? Yeah, you're just teaching them mutual respect. Don't be, like you said, don't be an asshole. The extension of sometimes being an asshole, everyone likes to play that I'm harder than you shit, especially the youngins. Like to see who's more, especially the junior ranking NCOs and stuff like that. I see it too. The junior ranking NCOs. I'm not talking about guys who are like platoon sergeants or drill sergeants or instructors or whoever. I'm just talking about they're just that one. You just got that one. You watch the movie Stripes where the drill sergeant goes, "Lighten up, Francis." That one guy that says, "Any of you all touch my stuff and I'll kill you." You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Then you got that one extra dude that really fucking goes overboard. Have you been able to? I mean, do you still have that? Have you seen that? Am I dating myself by even saying fucking Stripes and talking about Drill Sergeant Holka? Sorry.
No, Stripes is freaking awesome. Yeah. So, I've been pretty fortunate so far as my cadre are concerned. They genuinely care about the soldiers, and I might have a naive and idealistic view on the world and on people, but I think people in general want to do a good job. I think that. The problem lies in the mentorship and knowing how to do the job. So, you might have watched, just military movies, and you think that effective leadership is totally, what is it? Almost a dictatorship, do as I say. And if you're a good soldier, you'll do exactly what I say. And that's where it takes somebody to kind of step in and be like, all right, well, leadership is more than just barking out orders and being the big sarge or whatever.
Right,
so,
right.
And the same thing with the soldiers. A lot of people are like, well, this younger generation, they're just weak. They're just, they're snowflakes, this, that, and the other. It's like, all right, well, again, have they been taught how to cope? Have you taken the time to teach that soldier how to face adversity, how to fail, and then continue to drive on to encounter an obstacle and use the critical thinking skills to get around the obstacle, as opposed to, well, the obstacle happened, so I can't do that. Have you taken the time to teach them? So I think it goes with for all ranks. We got to take the time to teach each other these skills that aren't necessarily inherent in everybody.
I think that right there is important due to the fact that part of that team building stuff is there's individuals that have not, and this is just a generational thing that I don't want to say have not, very few have had an adverse or have dealt with adversity in their lives, but there's a lot that have not, and those are the ones that you have to teach, because those are the ones that end up losing their shit. Those are the ones that end up not following the wrong crew. Those are the ones that end up not understanding, hey, they're not supposed to do something or all that. Have you had any? I mean, in your experiences, have you had a lot of? I mean, maybe that's too specific, because I don't want to have to get too specific on the organization. But do you think that the Army right now, in dealing with this, and soldiers' issues with adversity, do you think that the Army has enough resources? I mean, do you think it's there? Do you think it's legit? I mean, for instance, like the chaplains. I'm not going to rag on the chaplaincy, but the chaplaincy sometimes they're chaplains. They're also like how we in I don't want to I don't know your position. I don't want to say it out on the air, but like, for instance, we have commanders out there and first sergeants out there that have either got degrees in like freaking engineering or whatever, and are now expected to be fucking counselors for soldiers, and now expected to be that parent for soldiers. What do you think that needs to happen within the chaplaincy or some sort of social media, social service work? Do you think that the Army's doing okay as it is, in your opinion?
I think that there are, there are so many programs that are available to the soldiers, right? You've got behavioral health, you've got the MFLIC, you've got the chaplaincy, and I mean, the chaplains are, I think they're certified. I'm not 1,000% that they're certified, but they're counselors. Like they know how to counsel. They're taught how to counsel. However, like some soldiers they won't go near a chaplain because the chaplain represents religion and they are adverse to religion. But you have those other programs in place to try to address those issues. I think that, and I know that we've heard this over and over again, but the behavioral health stigma is, prohibiting the soldiers from going and utilizing those services that are available to them. I think MRT is, out of all of the, extra training that we have to do, I would have to say, in my personal opinion, the MRT is the most useful, without a doubt, hands down. I think it taught me a lot personally on how to cope with negative situations, negative thoughts, and how to mitigate those and still function as a person and do what I need to do. I think we need more of it. I think it's super effective if people use it, as opposed to just, falling asleep in class or not doing it. And then I can't stress enough, I don't think any sort of online version of that would be effective at all. It has to be person face-to-face.
Oh my God, I think sometimes we have relied too much online stuff that I think we passed it up. You know what I mean? It's one of those things to where I don't think that. And here's the thing, it's an experience level for me. I mean, luckily for me, once I became a first sergeant, I had already been in the Army already a long time enough to dealt with all the fucking soldier shit. But when I pinned my stripes back. Wow, when I first pinned sergeant, it was in 1996. So that's when I first pinned the rank of sergeant. And that right there was immediately, I was given somebody who was not doing too well in their finances. I was doing somebody who got busted for a DUI. I also had an individual who was dealing with some marital issues. I also had another individual who was bouncing checks, and I had one that was getting busted. That was getting busted all the time just for being disrespectful. That was my baptism of fire as soon as I became a sergeant. Once I got promoted, yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's just one of the things but I was lucky because I had a platoon sergeant and I had a platoon leader that were kind of old enough to where they were understanding, okay, hey, this is what you need to do, this. And a lot of the stuff is, like you said, a lot of it just doesn't require a blanket end all. Like, you as a leader would not punish one soldier A in their specific situation, right, as you would do for soldier B for their specific situation. I think that's what the Army's got the issue on, is that's what fills our inbox. Our inbox fills with just the blanket comments. Just the blanket, I'm not going to say comments, but the blanket punishment, I should say. Hey, soldier A, soldier B did this, both of you did this, and this, and this, not looking at their specific situations. Do you think that the Army promotes too soon? The Army, when it comes to something like that, like there's something too young? Do you feel like you said, you talked to your first sergeant, Do you think you as a command team or another command team or your platoon leaders or your platoon sergeants, do you think there needs to be more training within that? I guess it's hard to explain because it just, to me, I just feel like you need to
I got you.
You need to have. I think.
I got you 1,000%.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know if it's necessarily age. I do think that we need time and experience. There's no teacher like that. However, so far as, the leadership training, there's a lot of, okay, here's some doctrine, here's, the Army values and what does it mean to build cohesive teams and, et cetera, et cetera. But so far as the real life, okay, I think it's kind of glossed over, like active listening, UCMJ processes, some of the very sticky situations that are real life that you're going to have to make decisions on that are going to impact not only the soldiers but the families of those soldiers. And you really don't get that in your training of, okay, these are some of the things that you will experience throughout your leadership time. And I think that would be helpful because otherwise it is like you were saying, it's that trial by fire, and you hope to God that your mentor or your leadership has seen something similar before and they can kind of walk you through it. Because, God knows there's so many regulations, and you're not going to know exactly where to look immediately.
My platoon sergeant, as soon as I took the squad, he was like, "Man, you're getting a baptism of fire." And he's like, "Here's what you need to do," and he walked me through each process, and then it became to the point to where I was able to, each situation helped me a lot because I was learning Army stuff, to maneuver myself through the Army as well. So I kind of was able to impart some of the stuff in there too. I'm just kind of curious because I know right now, it really hated politicians are getting involved. They got butthurt because, they said that, military shouldn't be screened and blah, 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 just because of that. And the FBI should be doing this. And I did mention that when, if you get close to the president, you're going to get extra screened. That's just normal because when I don't know if you've ever been with a senior cabinet, visiting your installation or visiting your organization, but you go through that. Secret Service will come by and say, "Let me see all your CACs, grab your ID cards, grab whatever. Let me see your driver's license," and then they all run you through, and then they go, "Okay, you, come here," and then they disappear. I don't know where they go, and then there's like, "Okay, the rest of you come with me." You know what I mean? That's been normal because I think that's just the way it is.
Rightfully so. Right.
And that's why, Congress is talking about demanding an investigation of white supremacists. They're demanding an end to extremism. And I just you're not, I don't know how we are going to identify it when we have issues like Fort Hood coming up already to exacerbate it, to make it worse. But anyways, I'm just curious. But hey, real quick, since I got you on here and you might as well just finish this shit out with me because we'll hang out for a little bit. Did you hear about the Air Force? Did you hear what they did? The Air Force and the Space Force?
With the hair.
Did you hear about that shit? So obviously,
yeah.
I'm talking to a female, so obviously, what do you think about that? What do you feel about, do you think that's awesome? Do you think that's good? Give the audience what you think about it, because what now is happening is that the Air Force is allowing longer braids, ponytails, and bangs for women, which I didn't know bangs were illegal or whatever, but obviously you're in the Army. So beginning this month or next month, female airmen will be able to wear their hair in 2 braids in a single ponytail with bulk not exceeding the width of the head and not exceeding the below the horizontal. I'm going to throw a graphic up here what it's going to look like. In addition, women's bangs may now touch their eyebrows but not cover their eyes. Well, obviously you need your eyes to see, so how would you I guess there was an Air Force uniform board, and the new changes are effective upon publication of the new AFI 36-2903. This is the Space Force. The Space Force page gave me this and wanted me to talk about it. As outlined in Action Order 8 Airmen, this decision is a commitment to supporting the airmen. We need to sustain a culture and environment of excellence. See, I already like it because he said excellence. That will continue to make the Air Force an attractive career choice for airmen and families, said the Air Force Chief of Staff, Charles Brown Jr. Thank you for the feedback and research conducted a number of women leaders from the Women Initiative Team, Air Force Uniform Board, and our joint teammates. Now, this is crazy because now it's not like the Army, they asked for female input. I am not I'm not equipped to discuss that issue. So how are you thinking about? What do you think about this as a female leader in the Army?
So I am a female, right? And I'm sure that there is a plethora of opinions either way. But for myself and my own personal experience, I would not be opposed to it, and here's why. And I understand that we have to keep, an appearance of, a military-like appearance, right? And,
right.
I wouldn't want it just because I want to appear more feminine or I want to appear attractive to, anybody within, by my side or in my ranks or anything like that. But the reason that I wouldn't be opposed to it is this. Number one, you get a headache like a son of a bitch from the super tight buns and having them for, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 hours. You have your hair in that condition. It does give you a screaming headache. And you do experience some hair loss, which is pretty unpleasant. Like, I don't necessarily like that, but, your hairline can recede. I myself had experienced a little bit of that, but I, started using hair treatment to try to adjust for that. But it's detrimental to our hair to have it so tight and in a bun all day.
I was speaking to another female Army leader, and she was telling me that there's a considerable hair loss in the back of the head. Like there's a specific disorder that would cause your hair to just patch up and then get really, it gets bad. When the Army, I guess the Army is revising AR-670-1 when it comes to hair. And I was trusted to look at some slides and stuff, and I'm not authorized to release yet, but of what it damages, how it damages somebody's scalp and their fucking hairline. Oh my God, I never knew about this.
Mine was not that expensive by any means, but it did occur, right? So I did start losing some hair and did have to start. It's so embarrassing. Just had to start using like female Rogaine,
right?
Just because so many days out of the week, sometimes the weekends, your hair is in that position. It's not good for it.
So how does it? I don't have the hair to talk about it, but how much does it add to your day when you're getting ready to get to work or something like that?
Oh, that's negligible. And it's not something that I've ever complained about, but whenever I saw that they were kind of looking at it, I was like, oh, that'd be nice. Like, that'd be great to not have that be a problem, hair loss and headaches.
What would you think that the, what would you think about the opportunity for women to shave their hair like dudes? Like, see, exactly that. Baconer just said, do you think everyone would get a straight buzz cut? You know what I mean? Do you feel as a female Army leader that's acceptable as well? That to get like a high
I do. I don't see what the issue is. Unless that's identified to some sort of gang that I'm not aware of, some sort of rampant female gang. But like, I don't see why they wouldn't be able to.
There's rampant female gangs out there. You need to freaking I gotta be careful.
Shaking their heads.
I bet he's got to shut up before like WTF Nation Radio is talking about me. Oh, God, have you seen the vitriol lately? Just talking about anything on social media now, it's some of these individuals just need to ratchet it down from fucking 11 to 12. To 8 or something, or just be quiet. There's the amount of opinions. You're a female leader right now, and I'm guaranteeing if someone is hearing it, they're gonna be like, "Who was that Army leader? Who was that? Who was he talking to? That was saying some rampant female gang that has buzz cuts." I'm just picturing a bunch of females with buzz cuts running around, fuck off, angry fucking NCOs and shit. You know, is that extremist? See, that's what I'm saying. Is that extremism? You know, we could pick that apart just by that mere discussion. It's just fucking frustrating to see that. I mean, like I said, when I spoke to another female leader about it, actually it's several female leaders, and one of them is involved in doing that I guess not the board, but something for the revision of AR 16-1. And she did say, hey, look, here's some of the fucking pictures and stuff that this is what happens to females when you know, especially women of color, and this is what happens to their scalp. I'm like, holy crap! I do remember having female soldiers, and I don't know, maybe I'm a fucking shitbag leader for allowing this, but I didn't give a fuck if their bun went out when they were shooting at the range or something like that. If they were on a jump or something, I didn't give a shit. I didn't care.
Right.
I didn't care at all. I mean, at that point, it's the safety of the soldier being able to do something as opposed to that. I'm just curious. I think it's cool. I think the Air Force leadership. I mean, think about it. The Air Force leadership thought about this, and fucking, you know, that you know. Oh, and the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. Her name is what's her name again? Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Bass. Is that what it is?
But I'm not going to venture to even try. Like, I've seen the posts, but I've never actually heard her name pronounced.
Oh my God! You know what? That's right. Oh my gosh, that was right. There was an airman that got busted for saying, is it bass or base or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Oof. Yeah, I can see that. See, I might be messed up. Thanks. Now you put me on the fucking spot. Now
I have no idea.
WTF Nation Radio doesn't know how to pronounce it. Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. I'm just to say it looks like bass to me. I mean, hang on, let me see. You know, how does Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force pronounce her name? There you go. I want to be right. You know what I mean? I want to be, because I'm probably going to be called misogynist or something like that or whatever. Because that seems to be the thing is pronounce her name.
No, I don't know.
Okay, so there's a story. There's a story on Task and Purpose, and it's like and exactly what happened on Facebook, I guess, is the Air Force's top enlisted leader wrecked an airman when asked her name was pronounced like the species of fish or the musical instrument, and she responds with, "Staff Sergeant Banks, seems like you and a few of your friends enjoy trolling our Air Force sites." Bass wrote in a response commenting, "Is it bass or base? Give me a call Monday and I'd like to chat to you about. Maybe I'm missing something." And she's like, she enjoys a good joke but not disrespect. So there you go. She called him. So she said, quote, "I absolutely have a sense of humor, love to have fun and laugh, but disrespect, trolling, I don't go over well with me. Sergeant Banks' info as well as his crew, I'm sure there's a solid explanation, right?" To be fair, Sergeant Major Bass must get to the base a lot, and especially since taking over as a top enlisted airman, as someone whose last name is routinely misspelled as Rosa or Rosa, she can understand. Maybe, who knows, maybe Staff Sergeant Banks is indeed being a troll, or maybe Bass was just trolling right back with her threat about not having the airman's information. Hard to say for sure because the comments have been taken down from her Facebook page. But the internet never forgets. Internet never forgets. Yeah. So I'm trying to get to the point down here where it says, "Did she humiliate him?" Blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to find it. Is it so like that? And the correct pronunciation of bass is with a short A sound, as in the type of fish. There you go. See, so it's bass. See, I was right from the get go. See, there you go. I just want to. Who wants some? Yeah, exactly.
So what about her?
Oh. She was yeah, exactly. What were you talking about, Ice? What the fuck you talking about, man? She was the big proponent as well for it. She even said the same thing. She said, in addition to she quoted the same thing. It's like, "We have our airmen, not all women have the same hair type, and our hair standards should reflect our diverse force." And that's what she quoted. She's like, she's pleased that we can make this important change for our women service members, unquote. So, okay, I can't wait. I just can't wait for Army leaders. You know, is there something like when sometimes you feel like, I don't want to say like you what is it, what is it called? How do I say this? Do you take particular glee watching somebody lose their shit? You know what I mean?
Like leadership.
Well. I mean, it's like I have a mean streak in me a little bit, and so when there's somebody who's losing, like when the Army does the same thing with ponytails, I'm kind of laughing about, you know what? I want to see Sergeant Majors lose their shit. I want to see Sergeant Majors go nuts. I want them to be like, because they're not going to know the change in the rank. And Big Sarge, and again, Big Sarge is going to be the same thing. I just want to see the same guys that make kids do their APFT and ACFT when they're not supposed to are going to be the same guys that are going to be nuts. Go nuts when they see a female soldier walking by with 2 ponytails.
I don't doubt it.
They're going to go nuts.
Now, I will say, though, I ventured into that realm when that picture got released of the female and the frickin' Louis Vuittons with the red sole on the bottom of it. And a lot of my female friends like can't stand my perspective on it. But I'm like, why are you trying to be sexy in uniform? Like, that's not pragmatic. It's not practical. Like, why are we trying to be attractive in uniform? No.
Man, you said, because another leader got, I'm so glad we didn't give up your name, or you didn't say your name, because there's a leader on Twitter that got fragged, that got dogpiled for saying the same thing. Female leader. She said the same fucking thing. She's like, this isn't a fucking fashion show. There's standards. And that's what I'm quoting, roundabout paraphrasing, that's what she said. Mm-hmm. And everyone jumped on her shit.
It's not popular.
It's not popular because, what if, everyone's, and then somebody came up with an idea of how about having the colors of the souls the same as your branch. So whatever your branch is, and I'm just saying yours is infantry, you have blue. Your tanker, you whatever your branch is. So you'd be a grunt. So you'd have the blue cord, rah rah rah, heels on the bottom of your shoes, which is kind of crazy to say that. Blue infantry blue on women's heels. I think it's fucking funny, but just the mere thought of it. But you'd have infantry stuff on your shit on your so you would have one.
I'd almost be okay with that though, because that's more your branch pride and
okay,
it's part of the uniform. It's not like
okay, so so you're making a compromise then that as long as it's your branch pride, as long as like for you it'd be infantry, you wear your infantry, you have the infantry blue on your soles. Or chemical or artillery or whatever have you, but you'd have your grunt blue shit and then you'd be good to go. Somebody said burqas.
Yeah.
No burqas. God, this isn't the Taliban. But no, okay. Well, see, that's the thing. So you're, okay, I can see that. But there was somebody on Twitter that got roasted for, and she said the same thing. She's like,
but it's not soldier shit,
Right.
Like we all joined. And we all became soldiers. And the whole thing is equal opportunity, and we don't discriminate based off race, religion, gender, and all of that. But we are all green, right? And we're, executing this ACFT that's gender neutral and et cetera. And I don't know why we would have to or allow, females to be like, well, I want to be wearing these like sexy expensive shoes and uniform. Like I don't get it. I don't.
Wow. That's I'm just saying. Hey, you're better equipped. You are a female Army leader. That's just wow. I'm just not, because some female Army leaders are like, no, I don't give a shit. That should be like that. But and said the same thing as you. Like I said, you'd wear your infantry stuff, bam, 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 and you're good to go. And then that's it. But not just straight up as a fashion statement. If you're infantry officer or infantry NCO, right, you should not wear. That's okay. I could see that. No, okay, definitely. No, I'm just curious because that's just one of those things to where you ladies in uniform are the one that have to do it. So, anyways, but right. Well, shit. Damn. Well, thanks for calling. I appreciate your insight on the A, Army leader and extremism stuff, and then B, Army female leader as discussions of shoes, pronunciation of names, and ponytails. Of excellence, exactly that, of excellence. Thank you again for calling, and then I'll see you in the chats.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Oh man. Well, hey, that was a really good conversation. I mean, does something in depth like that. That's pretty cool. I like that shit. So you got what else was going to talk about? Oh, so there you go. Sergeant of the Army's actually talking about taking into consideration, taking all comments from social media and all that. He's pretty snappy on the Twitters, and he's also pretty reactive in his emails and social media. His PAO will get all the information too. But shit, it's already 20 till. And sorry about the man. I really am sorry about screwing up y'all's fucking first 15 minutes. You can download the podcast, by the way. Once once this is loaded up, I'll adjust it and take out that sound. I'll make sure that everything was good to go. So you could download it on Google Play or Apple Podcasts. So shit, I guess it's time for fucking housekeeping. Next Monday, we got George Bell, Vice President of Fieldcraft Survival, retired Master Sergeant who spent 20 years in special operations serving as a psychological warfare expert. My man! He'll be he's served in various duty positions within the U.S. Army and has led and conducted counter-proliferation and counterterrorism operations all over the world. He's representing Fieldcraft Survival. I was on his podcast for his organization, and we shot the shit. Now we're reciprocating that favor. Now he's going to come on and shoot the shit. Discussing fieldcraft stuff. When you're driving down the road and your car breaks down, or you come up on an accident and you see a situation where you need to render first aid, or you need to do just general fieldcraft survival stuff, which, of course, obviously was the name of the company. On the 29th of January, as Carl Whalen and Kayla, man, I can't even pronounce that. How do I pronounce that? Carl Whalen and Kayla Collette will be on Friday Night Freedom, January 29th. Army veteran Carl Whalen. God, I'm messing up his name. See, there you go, caller. I'm all messed up, freaking not knowing what the not knowing what the hell names are pronounced anymore. Is it Bass or is it Bass? It's Carl Whalen and Kayla. I guess it'd be Kayla. We gotta get pronunciation down. Kayla Collette, co-founder and president of Back to the Rumble, Back to Heroes Rumble, and we're back to talking about what they do for our service members, veterans, and first responders. Back the Heroes Rumble is recognized in Ohio as a 501 Charlie, a nonprofit corporation in support of law enforcement, first responders, firefighters, and military servicemen and women, and the veteran community. And their service area covers the entire states of Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. She's also, Kayla is also the widow of Staff Sergeant Joseph Collette, and will be joining Carl to share her story about how Back to Heroes Rumble supported her with her loss of her husband, Joseph Collette, who was killed in Afghanistan. 4 February, on Thursday, the next sergeant's time is going to be Colonel Jeremy Mustair from the 8th Psychological Operations Group. We got Psy up in the house. He'll be on to talk about the Psychological Operations Regiment, his organization, and what his units do. Is a lot to discuss. You're going to see some stuff like that. And then we're going to have, again, I know I'm rushing through the guests because I want to reiterate again. On the 18th of February, we have Command Sergeant Major John Foley, the Command Sergeant Major of U.S. Army Recruiting Command. Yes, USAREC is coming to WTF Nation Radio and the WTF Nation, which we're excited. We're excited. This is a historic event. We've been trying to get USAREC to come on here since, I think, the page and the freaking station started. 18 February, make sure you mark your calendars down, and also send your requests in the inbox for WTF Nation Radio on the Facebook page, or go to contact@WTFNationRadio.com to get your questions in, so that way we can ask the CSM. I don't want no bullshit questions either. I don't want no freaking, because I want some legit questions that discussing on recruiting and what he's going to talk about. He'll be talking about, telling about basically the force, about the Army's recruiting mission, and how everyone can help be part about it. I got like a litany of fucking shit from them of what they wanted to discuss too. So I think it's gonna be pretty informative. Probably gonna be a long show. So again, 18th February, the Command Sergeant Major John Foley, USAREC, is coming on. We're also gonna have other individuals. I kind of tweeted this out. We're gonna have a Stolen Valor segment. We're going to have another joint opportunity with 18th Airborne Corps and 1st Special Forces Command, 82nd Airborne Division, and I'm really excited about, and also another special segment for Sergeant's Time that I'm really excited about, that we're kind of like working right now. I don't want to reveal too much, but I'm pumped because we can get back to getting you guys and gals the best quality of veteran entertainment and military expertise. The Stolen Valor segment, I can't wait for, because what I'm trying to do is we're trying to work with other individuals that work within that community that hunt Stolen Valor individuals down, and we want to do a segment. And also guest podcasts to be broadcasted on U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. So you'll see other podcasters being guest hosts on their own show, either on Saturday or Sunday. Kind of like how Nick Guy did when he was interviewing the family of Sergeant First Class Alwyn Cash. So I'm pumped. I'm really excited. So with that, you guys got anything for me? You guys, psyops, exactly. I'm pumped. So if you guys don't have anything for me, make sure you, and like, the Army leader said, real quick, that'll be my last word for tonight. Hey, just mutual respect for each other and understanding where each other comes from and dealing with the adversities that they may have not or gone through, I think will help us out in all this. But again, keep your head up. And with that, I hope you guys can hear all the music. So shots.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Intergalactic horse, and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. And now they say that they've discovered life up there on Mars, so let's blow it all to hell and then claim it for ours. We'll paint the moon red, white, and blue for no other reason than we wanted to. Oh, Jupiter, imagine what you could become. A stupid, pointless planet turned into a giant gun. And Russia, so sorry, have to burst your bubble. Be a good sport, now sit back, relax, and watch us through the Hubble as we celebrate the greatness of the United Planet America. Space Force, Space Force. We'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. We'll go to infinity and beyond, beyond. You'll hear our manly voices singing Space Force strong. Though critics say sound doesn't travel in space, to which we reply sound will do as we say. Oh, Captain Kirk, your achievements, though notable and fine, as far as we're concerned, this is Deep Space Mine. And big fans, but Lord Vader, step away from the lightsaber. There can only be one, of course. Space Force. Ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da. Dum 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 dum, rat da 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 da, da 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 da, dum 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 dum. Space Force, Space Force, we'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Space
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.